going to show the team adapter for PeopleSoft. And we're going to start by looking into the actual PeopleSoft system for PeopleSoft user 123, which is not there. We're just making sure that you see that it's not there. And that's the user we're going to create from iTeam manually on a request base. And of course, all this you can do with a provisioning policy. So we see that the user is not there. Now we go into the team self-help UI, and as a user, request an account. We click search and we select PeopleSoft as the account we want. We specify the user ID, PeopleSoft user 123. The symbolic ID is going to be SA. In the ID type, we're going to select none for now. And we submit that. We are not going to do anything with the description, email, or any of the other stuff. We will use that on a second user that we will create shortly. Now all we need to do is specify the password and request the account. We click view my request, and this may take a while. We are targeting a system that is in another country where the PeopleSoft installation is. So the response time may take a little while to get there. We refresh once. We could go to the PeopleSoft system and see it's in there, but I think it is best to actually wait until iTeam tells us that it's already successful. So let's refresh one more time. And should not take too much longer. Yeah, there it is. See, successful. So now let's go to the actual PeopleSoft system and run the same query as before. Same user, PeopleSoft user 123, but now instead of no matching values were found, we should get the response that the user was actually created. And there it is. We didn't specify anything in particular for the user other than the ID that we specified. We selected as none, so that's the symbolic ID. As we click ID, we see that the option should be none. Okay, there we are. So now let's go ahead and create another user. This time it's going to be PeopleSoft user 1234, and we're going to exercise some of the granularity that the adapter allows us to specify on the account request. So we go to the the same self-help UI that we were before. Here we are, and we're going to request another account. This time the user, as we said, is PeopleSoft user 1234. The symbolic ID will be the same as SA. The ID, now we're going to select an employee ID of PeopleSoft admin, PS admin. So let's put the value here. PS admin. Click submit. Now the description, we're not going to put anything, but in the email we are going to specify what email is going to be the primary. This is a BlackBerry, and put any address, aa.b.com for example. And we save that. We're not going to specify anything on the language, but on the permissions link, and this is all PeopleSoft specific information, we click search for the first navigation homepage, and let's say that we select anyone down here is internal use only. And on the roles, you can select one or more than one roles for the user. These are PeopleSoft roles that that you want the user to have. And this is the workflow, which is a specific workflow that PeopleSoft have, nothing to do with iTeams workflow. And you can specify here, the different actions from when the account will be created and when the account will terminate, routing information, email routing. These are all things that people do with the PeopleSoft system, and you can select those from iTeam. The next thing for us to do is to specify a password. And again, we specify a password for this account. Request the account. Look for the request until that request is successful. And again, you can do all this with a provisioning policy when a user gets created, or but we're just showing how you can do this on a request base from the team adapter for PeopleSoft. So let's keep hitting go into this remote system, and it's there. It had created. So if we go back to the PeopleSoft system and we look for PeopleSoft user 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we are 4 here, and click search. We're going to find that that user was also created, and we can see in the general tab that is the same SA ID, symbolic ID, and in the ID we can see as before that it's not none, but now it's PS admin. So let's click there. And again, in the roles, you can see the roles, the work, all the information that you actually selected in item is available here for this adapter.